Good morning. Welcome to the first class of Women's Writing. All writings have a place, a history and a character. Throughout history, women have been immersed in the struggle against the dominance of the patriarchal, male-oriented power structure present in society. Even though women have been writers in the past, it has been men who have indirectly controlled what women should write. Women's writing introduces the student to the evolution of the feminist movement. It aims at helping the student to think critically and creatively, know issues related to feminism. Besides introducing students to women's voices articulated in literature from various languages and regions, this anthology goes a little further by touching on the emotions of the reader and thereby becoming a sampler of some of the finest writing on women's issues. Even while sensitizing the student to issues like marginalization and subjugation of women by exploring themes of class, race, gender, hierarchy, sexuality, colonization and its aftermath, and the question of identity, the collection motivates him or her to rethink and redefine literary canons. Give the social reality of women's lives. Fiction by women explores the issue of female vulnerability and the individual woman's struggle to control her life and surmount the difficulties. Preliminary explorations suggest that women are stereotyped as symbol of purity and docility. Through self-effacing denials, they become selfless angels ready to carry out the dictates of others. The distinguished range of writers in this collection conveys a marvelous diversity of speech and generation, reflecting a variety of voices and a myriad of forms. It was important that the authors included in this anthology should come from everywhere. So, from a galaxy of women's writing, here is a collection of dazzling stars who cut across cultures and countries with their multiple experiences, striking a delicate balance between tradition and modernity. What is the place of women in this post-colonial world of global modernity? Does she become the nucleus in both private and public spaces? Or is she still only the master of domestic space? This collection is intended to rouse the conscience of the reader. The poems, plays, novels and essays have been selected with this purpose. The two films included in this course are eye-openers about the status of women in the family and the society. The reader needs to educate herself to respond sensitively to these issues. So, you are ready to be strong. You are ready to be understand and realize the real power of women. Let us start with a very beautiful and powerful poem, an introduction written by Kamala Das. I think there is no need to give an introduction about Kamala Das. In the 5th semester, we have learned one of her famous poems, In Love. Anyway, let us start with Kamala Das. Kamala Das, Malayalam pen name Madhavikutty, Muslim name Kamala Suraya, was born on March 31st, 1934 at Punniyurkulam in Thrissur. She died on May 31st, 2009 at Pune in India. Indian author who wrote openly and frankly about female sexual desire and the experience of being an Indian woman. Thus was part of a generation of Indian writers whose work centered on personal rather than colonial experiences, and her short stories, poetry, memoirs and essays brought her respect and notoriety in equal measures. Thus wrote both in English and under the pen name Madhavikutty in the Malayalam language of southern India. Kamala Das, her Malayalam pen name is Madhavikutty. When she converted her religion into Muslim, she accepted the name Kamala Suraya. She was born on March 31st at Punniyurkulam in Thrissur. She died on May 31st at Pune in India. She wrote openly and frankly about female sexual desire and the experience of being an Indian woman. We can see that she centered on personal rather than colonial experiences. She shared her past experiences more. Her short stories, poetry, memoirs and essays brought her respect and also notoriety in equal measures. Notoriety means the state of being famous for some bad quality or deed. So we can see that at the same time she brought respect and also notoriety in equal measures. Thus wrote both in English and Malayalam languages. In Malayalam, she wrote under the pen name Madhavikutty. Kamala Das was born into a high status family. Her mother, Nalappad Balamani Amma, was a well-known poet, and her father, V.M. Nair, was an automobile company executive and a journalist. She grew up in Kerala and Calcutta, where her father worked. She began writing poetry when she was a child. When she was 15 years old, she married Madhava Das, a banking executive many years her senior, and they moved to Bombay. About her parents, her mother, Nalappad Balamani Amma, was a well-known poet. Father, V.M. Nair, was an automobile company executive and a journalist. She spent her childhood both in Kerala and Calcutta. She started to write when she was a child. When she was just 15 years old, she married Madhava Das. He was a banking executive and many years her senior. After the marriage, they moved to Mumbai. Kamala lived in multitudes. She spoke and wrote across languages and gave herself various names. She took on the name Das after marriage, preferring to be known by her first name before then. She is also Kamala Suraya, the name she took after converting to Islam in 1999. She is also Madhavikutty, the pseudonym she gave herself when writing in Malayalam. And finally, she is also Ami, a pet name she reserved for herself in her memoirs. She spoke and wrote in two languages, English and Malayalam. After her marriage, she took the name Das with her first name, Kamala Das. When she converted into Muslim in 1999, she accepted the name Kamala Suraya. She used the pseudonym to write in Malayalam as Madhavikutty. When we examine her memoirs, we can see a pet name, Ami. Kamala Das had 3 sons and did her writing at night. Then I want to speak about her works. Das poetry collections include Summer in Calcutta. It was published in 1965. The Descendants. It was published in 1967. The Old Playhouse and Other Poems. It was published in 1973. Subsequent English language works included the novel Alphabet of Lust. This novel was published in 1976. Short stories A Doll for the Child Prostitute. It was published in 1977. Padmavati the Harlot. It was published in 1992. Notable among her many Malayalam works were the short story collection Thanuppu. It was published in 1967, and the memoir Balikala Smaranagal. It was published in 1987. Perhaps her best known works was an autobiography, which first appeared as a series of columns in the weekly Malayalanadu, then in Malayalam as Ente Katha. It was published in 1973, and finally in English as Story in 1976. A shockingly intimate work, it came to be regarded as a classic. In later life, Das said that parts of the book were fictional. So we can see that she wrote poetry, novel, short stories, memoirs, and also autobiography. Actually, her autobiography, at first it was appeared as a series of columns in the weekly Malayalanadu. Finally, it published as Ende Katha in 1973. In English, her autobiography published as My Story in 1976. It is regarded as a classic. In later life, Kamala Das said that part of the book were fictional. In 1999, she controversially converted to Islam, renamed herself Kamala Suraya. She received many literary awards, including the Asian World Prize for Literature in 1985. Then I want to speak about her writing style. A prime feature of Kamala's poetry was the constant attention to female sexual life. Her controversial autobiography, Ente Katha or My Story, stirred up a hornet's nest as she gave a brutally honest depiction of her childhood, coming of age, sexuality, emotional clashes, marital issues, and extramarital affairs. As a child, an adolescent, a young wife, and an old woman, Kamala explores various aspects of a woman's journey to connect with her sexuality. In composition, she writes, "Now here is a girl with vast sexual hungers, a bitch after my own heart." I already told you she wrote frankly. Her poetry was the constant attention to female sexual life. When we go through her autobiography, Ente Katha or My Story, we can see that it is stirred up a large wolf's nest as she gave a brutally honest depiction of her childhood, coming of age, sexuality, emotional clashes, marital issues, and extramarital affairs. She shares her experiences as a child, an adolescent, a young wife, and an old woman. Kamala often touched upon homosexuality, be it in the attraction among young girls at the boarding school or an episode that described her husband and his friend. In my story, Kamala writes, "At this time, my husband turned to his old friend for comfort. They behaved like lovers in my presence. To celebrate my birthday, they shoved me out of the bedroom and locked themselves in. I stood for a while wondering what two men could possibly do together to get some physical rapture, but after some time, my pride made me move away." She also wrote about homosexuality, how the young girls at the boarding school were attracted by her. She also shared her husband's attraction to his old friend. That's why I told you she wrote very frankly. Kamala's writing seems to have gushed out of Kamala, giving life to her many avatars. It's no wonder, considering she was born into a family of writers on 31st March 1934. Her mother, Bhalamani Amma, was a writer of critical acclaim who published over 20 anthologies of poetry. Her uncle Nalapat Narayana Menon was also a poet and a translator. She was highly influenced by her uncle Nalapat Narayana Menon. Having grown up in an environment rich with language and culture, Kamala began writing when she was young. She spent her childhood split between Calcutta, where her father worked, and her ancestral home in Punayurkulam, Kerala. Disillusioned and miserable with school and feeling distant from her family, Kamala explored writing full-time instead and married an older relative, Madhav Das, at age 15. Then I want to speak about her life and writings in detail. A brief history of Kamala Das' life will tell you that she was a woman always looking to change herself. She is credited with unraveling the complexities of marital life, childhood, sex, love, and desire with her book, My Story, which thrusted her into a fierce public gaze. With time, it softened and began to appreciate her craftsmanship. So we can see that through her autobiography, she started to unfold the complexities of marital life, childhood, sex, love, and her desire. So she was thrusted her into a fierce public gaze. Kamala was among the first women in India to speak frankly about sex and negatively of marriage in a deeply conservative society. My Story instantly drew criticism after its release for being obscene and designed to encourage adultery. I told you several times, Kamala wrote openly. That's why we can see that Kamala was among the first women in India to speak frankly about sex and also the negative side of marriage in a deeply conservative society. That's why she got a lot of criticism based on her book, My Story. It's released for being vulgar and designed to encourage adultery. It also, however, drew support from literary critics who linked her style of writing to two major American writers, Sylvia Plath and Anne Sexton. So we can see that her writing style linked with two major American writers. I think these two major American writers are very familiar for you, Sylvia Plath and Anne Sexton. The circumstances of her life inspired my story, the ambivalent childhood, early and ill-fated marriage, and the burden of being a woman. In confessional prose, she wrote to trysts with women, her husband's sexual ineptness and preference for men, and her yearnings for requited love. When we go through her autobiography, My Story, it is the mixed feeling of her emotions, her life, about her childhood, early and ill-fated marriage, and also the burden of being a woman. In confessional prose, she wrote of the appointed meeting with women, her husband's sexual ineffective and preference for men. In conventional prose, she wrote about the tryst with women, her husband's homosexuality, and her yearnings for requited love. These themes spilled into her poetry too. In visceral verse, she writes of providing bodily pleasures in her work, The Looking Glass. We can see these themes into her poetry too. Then I want to speak about she accepted the religion Islam. Kamala Das went on to publish two other anthologies of Summer in Calcutta, The Descendants and The Old Playhouse and Other Poems. The Descendants was published in 1967. The Old Playhouse and Other Poems was published in 1973. In an introduction from the later collection, she wrote of the trials of early marriage. That poem we are going to study. The nature of her writings. She published over 25 books and collections of poetry. It reveals a woman unafraid of honest expression and whose progressive stance on sexuality was ahead of her time. In 1984, she was invited to Adelaide Writers' Festival and went on in 1994 to read out her poetry in 3 universities in Germany. She also did readings in Jamaica, Singapore and London. In the same lifetime, she dabbled in politics, contesting unsuccessfully in the 1984 elections and then converted to and embraced the rigidities of Islam. So we can see that in 1984 and also in 1994, she got the opportunity to read out her poetry in 3 universities in Germany. She also did readings in Jamaica, Singapore and London. She already dabbled in politics, contesting unsuccessfully in the 1984 elections. After that, in 1999, she converted to embrace the rigidities of Islam religion. I have given up my freedom, she declared in an interview in 1999. Age 65. It has made me feel so shabby. Islam is not a lenient husband. Islam is rigid, very stern. I think of Allah as my master. I am his subservient handmaiden. I delight in being subservient. These are the words of Madhavi Kuti or Kamala Das in an interview in 1999. At that time we can see that she was 65-year old. She revealed that Islam is not a lenient husband, it's not a gentle husband. Islam is very rigid, very stern. She thinks that Allah as her master. She is his subservient handmaiden, but she was very happy in being subservient. Her abrupt change of her heart might strike some as odd, but it only reinforces an observation her son made of her that the only mind she felt compelled to obey was her own. Then I want to speak about her legacy. Kamala's writings earned her a steady stream of accolades and prizes, including a nomination for the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1984. She won the Kendra Sahitya Academy Award in 1985. Her works have inspired a biopic and, until as recently as last year, a Google Doodle celebrating the 42 years since my story first went to press. The doodle pictured Kamala against a radiant purple background that fades to black as flowers emerge and bloom from city houses. She died in 2009 at 75, succumbing to a bout of prolonged pneumonia. Kamala Das is a contemporary female poet from India. She can most definitely be considered a confessional poet because her poems often focus on her personal life, including many aspects of her life that other people would prefer to keep private. That's why we can call her as a conventional poet. In the second half of the 20th century, a group of American poets started writing on a highly subjective matter. Expression of personality without escape bloomed in the poems. The emotional content appears personal rather than impersonal. In the narrative content, the protagonist seems to be unbalanced, afflicted or alienated. This group of poets includes Robert Lowell, John Barrymore, W.D. Snodgrass, Theodore Roethke, Anne Sexton and Sylvia Plath to establish the conventional pattern in poetry. That's why I told you she had the writing style of Sylvia Plath and Anne Sexton. The new poets in India writing in English initiated their voice in poetry in a manner that resembled with that pattern. They used the self as a poetic symbol around which hovered a personal mythology. Among them, Kamala Das excels the position. She started writing in open front and in open language. Her poetry especially displays moral courage with anti-establishment in content and alienation in common theme. So we can see that Kamala Das wrote poetry in English more. Through her poetry, she spoke about her alienation and her life experiences. Kamala Das is a revolutionary poet who started the trend toward frankness and candor in the treatment of a subject which was almost taboo and which women poets particularly hesitated to deal with. She is thus a trend setter, and the trend started by her has now become almost vogue. She has criticized the tradition bound conservative society, which of course was always harsh on her unconventional lifestyle. One thing is sure, she is far ahead of many Indian writers in her ideas, unconcerned about what others think of her. That's very important. She didn't think about others. She was very honest person. She shared her thoughts and life experiences and also others throughout her works. Her poetry highlights the miseries of forlorn women and the treatment meted out to her in a male-dominated society. Controversies became the constant companion of her poetic achievements. The candid disclosure of her personal life in her poetry gave opportunity to critics to label her poetry as erotic and sexy. Her love poetry is unconventional and shocking to the orthodox conservative community because of her frank and uninhibited treatment of sexual love and human body. Most of her poems are based on the theme of love and sexuality. The female persona in her poems yearns for pleasures and emotional warmth beyond sexual gratification. Kamala Das thought herself to be one of the victims of the prevalent orthodox attitude towards Indian women and of male domination over them. Having personally experienced what she thought to be her husband's ill treatment of her and of his cruel neglect of her feminine needs, she could not help giving vent to her grievances in her poems. She expresses the vehemence of her emotions and her resentments. She made her poetry a vehicle for the expression of resentments against her husband and subsequently her grievances against all males because of her sad and bitter experience of her indiscriminate sexual relationships with a large number of men. She strives to establish her identity as a woman through her poems, and she in fact tried also to impact an identity to Indian women. The poem Glass states clearly that finding no emotional identity or satisfaction with her man, Kamala is driven into others' arms. As a conventional poet, she mostly confines herself to the reasons of her own experience. By so doing, she becomes very frank and honest, close and intimate in her details. She hardly ever writes about old, unhappy, far off things as Wordsworth and her band of followers did. That's why conventional poetry sounds so appealing and so convincing. The poet's failure in love is displayed clearly in the poem In My Grandmother's House. As Kamala Das is devoid of getting emotional attachment from her husband, that's why she keeps relationship with a many unknown person to get pure love. Such a conventional attitude of Kamala Das has heightened her universal appeal. Composition, one of her famous works, brings to the fore rottenness of her body and the uselessness of her love pranks. Kamala Das was totally dissatisfied in her marital life. She was deprived of getting love and affection. So she expresses her view in a melancholic condition, in the poem The Old Playhouse. When the light of love is put out, encircling gloom pervades the mind. This happens usually with a sharp, sensitive person like Kamala Das. Kamala Das has written quite a few poems on decay, disease and death. Many poems like Winter, The End of Spring, A Relationship, A Request, The Suicide and Palam, etc. The poem Too Early the Autumn Sighs signifies early decay and subsequent cheerlessness of the poetess. When we go through her poem The Suicide, the poetess expresses her desire to die when she is unable to find true love. About her poem Palam, it is another poem dominated by the thought of decay and death. In the end, Kamala Das is a typical conventional poet who pours her very heart into her poetry. She is largely subjective and autobiographical, anguished and tortured, letting us peep into her sufferings and tortured psyche. Then we can move to the textbook. So all of you please take the page number 49. Kamala Das was a major Indian English poet and at the same time a leading Malayalam author from Kerala. She wrote under the pen name Madhavikutty in Malayalam. She is noted for her fiery poems and explicit autobiography. I think if you remember well, her autobiography, Ente Kada in Malayalam, My Story in English. She later changed her name to Kamala Suraya when she accepted the religion Islam. Kamala Das was born in Punnayurkulam, Thrissur district in Kerala on March 31st, 1934 to V.M. Nair, a former managing editor of the Malayalam daily Madhrubhumi and Nalapat Balamani Amma, a renowned Malayali poetess. She spent her childhood between Calcutta, where her father was employed, and the Nalapat ancestral home in Punnayurkulam. At the age of 15, she got married to a bank officer, Madhava Das, who encouraged her writing interests, and she started writing and publishing both in English and Malayalam. On 31st May 2009, aged 75, she died at a hospital in Pune. She has received many awards and honors, including the PEN Philippines Asian Poetry Prize in 1963, Kerala Sahitya Academy Award for her writing in Malayalam 1969, Chimanlai Award for Fearless Journalism in 1971, the ASIN World Prize in 1985, and the Sahitya Academy Award for her poetry in English in 1985. In 1984, she was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature. Thus, uncanny honesty extends to her exploration of womanhood and love. In her poem, An Introduction from Summer in Calcutta, the narrator says, I am every woman who seeks love. This is Kamala Das' most famous poem in the conventional mode. So don't forget this poem, An Introduction. It is taken from Summer in Calcutta. Writing to her always served as a sort of spiritual therapy. It had been a loud person, I wouldn't have become a writer. I would have been a happy human being. She declares the self-assertion at the end of this poem, An Introduction. We will go through each and every line of this poem and introduction in detail in our next class. Thank you.